G'day, ladies and gentlemen. How are we today? It is the 31st of August. We've just had rallies going off all over the place. Some people are still live streaming. I see Courage of the Cure is live streaming via X. I don't know if we're actually making it to X on Cafe Lockdown and just somehow disrupting things. I didn't bother with Facebook Cafe Lockdown stuff. Look, here in Townsville, it was a hit. It was a straight in and out. Everything was great, no trouble. And sips to everybody in Townsville who turned up. The numbers were great. It was really good. Firstly, I think we'll have a quick look at something that was brought to my attention. Thank you to my wonderful family for finding this while I was desperately trying to edit as quick as I can with systems failing left, right, and center. But oops, that's the wrong one. We don't want that. We want that one. Apologies. All right. So this meanwhile in Australia, it used to be a good place to go and have a look at things, but it's been a long time since I've seen that because whoever's running this page has lost their mind. Apparently 8,000-ish and 5 to 10 in Melbourne. I mean, that's a pretty big jump, 5 to 10, 2 to 5. Who's making these numbers up? Adelaide, but the ultimate, they reckon 400 in Townsville. Really? I was there. I filmed the whole thing from, the beginning of the walk to the last stragglers, and it took about 15 minutes to do that, just to demonstrate just how inaccurate these kind of numbers are. I took the whole thing. The camera didn't move. I'm going to bring you in something that I hope works because I haven't had a chance to check it. There is a full version we have, but I've sped this up just to sort of get the point across quickly, and we might end with the full version without the time speeding up. So I sped this up, I think it was 25 out of 100, so it's, a quarter of the entire length. Let's bring this in. It's a bit over 4 minutes, I think it was. I've just been slam editing. Premiere Pro decided to fail on me. I couldn't get it to bloody work, so I had to edit this in After Effects. Anybody's ever had to work with After Effects, it's great for doing what it does, which is special effects work. It's quite the challenge to edit videos in a timeline with it, because it just sucks up a lot of resources. Not really what the program's built for. But where there's a will, there's a way, and I made it work. So, look, without further ado, g'day, Belinda. How are you? Thanks for dropping in. The numbers are popping in. This is really good. We're up to 69 already for a start. That's not a bad place to start. Cafe Lockdown has made it to X, which is great. G'day, Cafe Lockdown. Sorry if I'm stealing views off you, Robin. Sips, ladies and gentlemen, as I'm seeing these numbers continue to rise up, it's great to see. Hey, Susan, how you going? How is the weather in Scotland? You know, it's always good to know that we're getting that international audience as we do these things. Man, my camera looks really yellow today. I just realized it's anyway, it is what it is. You know, it's the orange tinge. You know, it helps the pasty part of my arm look a little bit better, I guess. But anyway, let's address this. Townsville, 400 people. You've got to be shitting me. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, here's the one quarter of the entire length sped up version. Actually, what happened there? Something went wrong. Anyway, actually, one more thing to mention before I bring that to the stage. Anyway, sorry, I'm using some rather heavy metal. This is a song that I wrote called Bogan Nation, dedicated to being an Aussie. Beers, AC/DC, Rose Tattoo. Hey, I went to see that on Friday, so I couldn't do a podcast. That was why I went to go and see Rose Tattoo. A little prelim to the video again. It's been a roller coaster of a weekend in that regard, because, obviously, a lot's been happening. I was, last minute, hey, do you want to come and help out at Rose Tattoo? Well, why wouldn't I, especially when you get the opportunity to see, the original rock and roll outlaw. I've got the, original Australian outlaw going on today. It all just seems to be somewhat appropriate. There's me, good old Angry Anderson and the band. The drummer was unfortunately unable to make that photo because apparently wasn't feeling too well. They were all having a bit of a battle of the flu, and Angry was quite animate. It's just the bloody flu. I love the stage show that he put on. He ripped into the gender confused. He ripped into the McDonald's. What I couldn't believe he started ripping into McDonald's. Can you believe people feed that shit to their children? He goes, I'm like, oh god, what a man, what a man. He made him whatever he doesn't have in stature, he makes up with his attitude. That's for sure. Great Australian. And he certainly was in support of the 31st that we're seeing today, which is great to hear. And wanted to make sure that everybody was safe and be wary. He seemed to share the same concerns that I've shared in previous podcasts. I'm hoping things have been a lot better in other places. We had a great time here in Townsville. But yeah, without further ado, we will get into the sped up version. And yeah, sorry if the heavy metal is not your flavor. Look, this is me giving praise to Australia. And look, if I used anything else that would be more palatable, then I'd probably get some sort of a flag for having thieved other people's music or something. So I used my own, and I didn't have time to write something, sadly. I wish I had more time, but it's the way it is.
I
So apparently 400 people, they reckon, eh? 400 people. Like a lot more than 400 to me. In total, the original time is about 13 minutes and 47 seconds, I think it was, off the top of my head. Look, it is what it is. It was a pretty good rally. We've got some interviews and stuff to bring in as well. Just give me a second, because some of these things are still rendering out in the background here due to time restraints. We're making it up as we go along, as in the best capacity we can here. Let me just get through to the file. Where did I put that? It's this bit here. All right, so we'll start off. He's got old Peter, Peter Rogers. He's run for a few different seats around here in Townsville. Love to see him run again. Hopefully, he'll find the time and the inclination to do it. Good to see him back out in the scene. Here's a few choice words. I didn't get all of it because I'm having a few camera troubles as well. So, look, this is as good a time as any to perhaps reflect on the unfortunate side effect of the world we live in, which is the need for cash. So we do have a 7-day trial of the Gaia network. You can try it for free. If you like it, you sign up using this link. That helps me out. You get something, I get something. That's great. For those of you who are eager to invest, jump onto the Stake app. $10 free if you use the promo code there, MarkB228. Also in the description there is a direct link if that makes life easier for you. It's a pretty good app. I found it very easy to use and straightforward. I don't have a great deal of cash in there to play with, but I'm playing with what I can to try and make it. And, with a good few, with what decisions I've made so far, it's worked out pretty well for me. Also, if you chuck some into the international markets, there's a good thing about it. You can trade here in Australia and you can trade there on Wall Street as well. If you're using that promo code, you join up to both of them. You get your $10 in Australia, and they gave us. I still think they're still doing it. They've got a free stock. I got a free one stock in Nike. At the time I got it, was worth $50 American. I think it's now 70 something American. So that's $300 basically I got from doing that. So you got to be in it to win it. Join that code. All you got to do is chuck a couple of bucks in. To trade in Australia, you do need to use at least $500 to buy something. It's like multiple stocks. Some good things to check out. On that note, I'm no financial advisor. Please don't shoot me if anything goes wrong. But I do advise having a look at things that are 100% fully franked, which means you get a tax write-off from the government. Have a look at the kinds of people that are doing that. A quick search on Xgrok can help you out. That's what I did, and I found it very enlightening to see who's been getting a pat on the back from the government. But also 100%, good high-end dividends and 100% fully franked is kind of the way I'm playing it at this time. I don't know if it's a good way or a bad way, but it's working for me so far. So that's one way of looking at those things. There's Bitcoin. If you're interested in that, there's a reference code there, JGWDH3, and there's a link there if that works for you. Quick free $10 for dropping some money in there if you want to buy some Bitcoin. It just continues to go up and up. Yeah, it might drop a bit, but it keeps going up again. So again, that's been a worthy little couple of bucks to drop in here and there. And also to our Patreons. The links are in the description for Patreons. There's a whole bunch of you guys. You're all awesome. I might read it out a little bit later. Let's get on with the show for now. But thanks heaps to all the Patreons. If you want to support the show, that's a great way of doing it too. There's bonus content available to you should you do that. Excuse me. Wet the whistle. Sips, ladies and gentlemen. Feel free to grab a beverage of your choice. It's not about getting wasted. It's about just having, a nice drink here and there. But anyway, here's Peter Rogers, and this is what he had to say today.
Bringing all these people into Australia. Why are these politicians doing what they're doing? It's totally against the Australian men and women of this country. So I think a lot of people here today, we're quite surprised actually the amount of people that have turned up here today, considering the other marches that have been held along the Strand in Townsville. So pretty well, great support for the representation of not only just our country, Australia, but the representation for Townsville. I think it's a great thing.
So, this thing's just not playing the way I'd like it to today. Been a bit troublesome, but So yeah, as soon as I pulled the camera out of the box today, I started plugging batteries in, test what's going, what's working, and some of the batteries are saying, "Well, you can't." The camera's telling me you can't use this battery. I use this battery every other time. Why can't I do it now? Hopefully, I'm hoping it's just contacts. Hopefully, I can just clean the contacts. What am I doing? My microphone should be here. So hopefully, it's just the contacts on the camera. Hopefully that'll work better. Sorry for the poor audio. I just realized my microphone's all the way over there. So it'll be a quick fix. If not, I'm gonna have to put it in for repair. Big shout out to a couple of people who actually put a few bucks in my pocket today too out of the rally. Much appreciated. You know, it's those are the things that'll help keep this going. This stuff does cost money. You know, all this gear, it breaks. Everything's got planned obsolescence in mind, I guess. But anyway, without further ado, here's some opinions from some of the other people that I met at the rally. Great Australian Townsvillians, and here's why they were there.
I've got children. I want them to be able to afford a home. I want them to be able to live without having to work, to pay taxes, to pay for wars that don't belong to us. We have people here that are suffering, that need everything that we're giving away at the moment. I'm tired of it. We're all tired of it. I've had enough. We need to move forward for the Australian people, mate. Not anybody else. For our children, everybody's children here that are born and bred for this country. That's why I'm here.
Yeah. Love it. Simple, straightforward, and to the point. Really, it was easy to get people to talk, which was really good. You know, a lot of places you go, some people are very hesitant, especially this day and age. You know, where you're vilified and called and everything under the sun for having an opinion that doesn't suit the narrative. So, cheers to all you brave people who spoke to us today. Here's another one.
These from the very years ago. The first time I turned up was about 10 people, and then we're doing marches for a couple of years here, and they fiddled out. But it's good to see the people come together and people are starting to wake up to what's going on. You know, we've got to get our country back because we've lost it. We've got foreign entities running our country. They've got to go. Simple as that. You know, and saw our children. You know, their children. You know, I just got to have a grandson. You know, I'm marching for him mainly because you know what's in the future for him. You know,
tired of the resources being stripped away, given away, thrown away. And we're paying through the nose for everything. We're over it. We struggle hard enough.
We've got no industry, no nothing. It's all been taken from us. You get pittance in the dollar for our minerals. You know, it's all owned by foreign companies. You know, it's got to stop.
You can't do it anymore. You can't do it anymore. No. Time's over, mate. Time's come now just to try and turn this around before. Well, I don't know. It's never going to be too late. But what it's going to take, it's going to get bigger and bigger and bigger and worse until there's something happens in this country that nobody's going to like.
Yeah, we don't want violence, do we?
No,
not at all. Not at all. But it's got to stop before.
But the police, but the government will do the violence. We were in Canberra a few years ago, and we got LRADed, man. Our faces peeled off. There's skin, people losing their bowels. There's dogs dying. They surrounded Epic Park with these friggin' LRAD machines, and then I couldn't believe our government would do that to us, you know. And then you tell people, they said, "Oh, you got sunburn." Come on, you know. They admitted they used them, you know.
My father, his grandfather, my grandfather fought wars to stop this sort of stuff.
Yeah. On our own soil, we're getting weapons turned against us.
Right on us. It's
peaceful.
It's not on us. It's finished. It's got to stop. It's got to stop soon.
Another great people, and yeah, pointing out the Canberra. I mean, like at the end of the day, you know, I'm sure everybody in the mainstream is going to try and make out, oh, this is all about a bunch of racists and all that. No, man, it's about so many more things. You know, like this has been a 5-year full-blown assault on the Australian people, and they've used anything they can to attack us. You know, look at the finances. Just go to the supermarket and tell me then we're not in trouble. You know, everybody can see it, and everywhere I go, I come across people who are had enough. You know, I mean, I was at Dan Murphy's the other day, you know, and the lady asked if she could help. I'm like, I wish she could, love, but you know, all I'm trying to do is trying to find something to feel that I can afford at this point of view. I look at these prices and I feel like I'm being raped. And she's like, I know what you mean. And she started firing up, telling me, oh, look at the supermarkets. It's just, all you got to do is give people a little bit of an opening about how bad things are, and everybody's got something to say. I think, you know, the people who were brave enough to turn up today, that you guarantee there's at least another 10, 15 at home who wanted to be there and couldn't for any number of reasons. A friend that was there at the rally today told me they come across somebody who was being pushed in a wheelchair, who discharged themselves from the hospital, apparently. And, unfortunately ended up going back to the hospital in in not too good a condition, but it meant that much to them to be there and support Australia and stand for our Australian values to that particular individual, that they were willing to discharge themselves from hospital and be readmitted in an emergency fashion to do so. So well done to that particular person. If you happen to know that person, or that person is watching in any way, shape or form, please feel free to reach out. Love to have you on the podcast to tell us why you felt the need to endanger yourself in such a fashion. Perhaps the danger and the threat of what's happening in this country right now is so strong that you felt that was the only thing you could do to keep yourself safe. And let's face it, fear is a powerful motivator. Have a look at what fear did during the COVID 1984 period. It was pretty powerful stuff. But anyway, speaking of powerful stuff, let's have a look at what the only politicians in town that had the balls to turn up, the Catter Party.
Battlefield at Gallipoli. This is the same flag that the ADF still fights under today. Yeah. Now, I probably should have used this megaphone a little earlier and I would have a better voice still. But what I'm going to do is pass this on now to a couple of people that want to send a message out to everyone today. Would you like to welcome Mr. Shane Knuth, member for Hill?
Ladies and gentlemen, it's a great honour to be here, and I really believe that this is going to be probably the most important rally in Australian history. We need to save our country. Now, KAP, myself, Bob, Robbie Canner and Nick DeMetto, we've tended many rallies across the region. That is, to protect our assets, our industries, our jobs, our personal freedoms, issues against the banks, rural debt, sticking up for our dairy farmers. These are very, very important to Queenslanders and Australians. But where we are absolutely gutted is this country has allowed protests and rallies to burn our flags, to display terrorist flags, banners of terrorist leaders. We see synagogues blown up, and we're not going to be silent over this. This is what I told the Southern media when we had that media conference down there last week. We also told them that we'll be here today because we'll be proudly flying the Australian flag. And we'll be acknowledging all those that fought and fell, those brave men and women who died for this country. And it's by
And no one blends our flag. No one.
And it's by their sacrifice we've inherited the freedoms and the prosperity that we've inherited to this day. Those that want to burn their flag, we don't want you. Those that hate this country, we don't want you.
Go home.
Now, I'm going to be very, very quick with this because I'm very, really excited to see so many people here, but also so many young people. Now, I was up there at the Innisfail races yesterday and at the Atherton Maize Festival, and the young generation come up to me and says, what can we do to march in a rally? Where can we go? And it was amazing how much interest that we had from our young generation. And I really believe that we have hope here. Now, seeing this rally here today, and I just want to share you a story very quickly that you'll understand where I'm coming from. And this is why I believe that there is hope that we can save this country by continuing what we're doing now. But I don't know if you remember years ago, we had what this called the big day out, which was held on Australia Day.
Yep.
It was a very popular event. Hundreds of thousands of young people went. But then the organisers come up with something stupid. And they said that anyone at this event on Australia Day displays the Australian flag, they will be kicked out. And they said, because we don't want to offend others. But, ladies and gentlemen, here, Australians, the young people rose up. Over 150,000 of them. They painted their face with Australian flags. They wore Australian flag capes. They flown the flag everywhere at that big day out. As far as your eye can see on the beaches, this is down there in Sydney. The Sydney beach was the Australian flag that was flown. So ladies and gentlemen, we've got hope. We're going to continue the fight. Well done for everyone that's here today, because we need to make sure, fight hard to save our country.
Ladies and gentlemen, Shane Canoe.
Aussie, Aussie, Aussie! Oi, oi, oi! Aussie! Oi! Aussie! Oi! Aussie! Oi! Aussie, Aussie, Aussie! Oi, oi, oi!
Ladies and gentlemen, I'd now like to ask Mr. Robert Cutter to come to the microphone.
Now, just before we get going, I do want to point out, sorry, the camera does drop out a few times due to that battery issue that I was talking about, that I'm going to have to look into exactly what happened. So we've got what we've got. Unfortunately, things didn't turn out well. I was having flashbacks of working at Win TV again as my gear failed today, and it's sad because it's the first time it actually has failed in a very long time. So apologies for that. I'm going to have to give it a bit of a service and go through it when I get time to scratch my butt. Yeah, needless to say, I have not stopped working. I stopped working to eat and sleep. Thanks to the Labor government for, having me work constantly all day, every day, for just enough money to be broke. Just another reason to be protesting today.
Yeah, it's a great turnout today. Thanks everyone. It's so reassuring to see everyone proud of their country like we are. We go down into Brisbane, Canberra, and we have indifference from the media and a lot of people down there who thinks it's strange how we act, and we think they're pretty strange sometimes. And they think it's peculiar, and they start to sort of chastise you when you're doing interviews, when you're saying you need to stand up for these values that we have in this country. We've inherited a wonderful country here. We have our problems, yeah, but we've inherited a wonderful country. We've got rule of law, we've got democracy. There's a lot of people coming in this country who don't like who we are. They want to change us to their ways. Shame! We don't want Shame! And there's a lot of people marching in their support. We don't agree with that, and we want to show them that there's a lot of us in Australia here that don't like that. We don't accept that. We're not going to accept that, embed that in our culture. They want to come here. They're going to assimilate with our values here, what we're proud of.
Oh, sorry, I just realized I wasn't on. Look, the comments that are just coming up here, the megaphone has the symbols, same as the Perth megaphone. I wasn't aware of that. So it would seem that there is, some people behind perhaps what's been going on. One of the big questions I've had is who's been setting this stuff up. So if we come back and we have a bit of a squiz here, people have drawn attention to it. So I guess we should discuss it, here. We've got these chaps here in the dressed in black, and what is runes? That's quite obviously, the old Northern Germanic / Nordic traditional alphabet there being displayed. Whether it actually says anything, I'm not that up with my old Nordic language, but yeah. it would appear that these people seem to have a bit of a perhaps white supremacist agenda. There is only about 4 of them or something. Unfortunately, they're the guys with the megaphone, I guess. I did bring this up with Shane Knuth, but we'll deal with that later, though. Obviously, you know, people have also drawn attention to the black clothes and whatnot. So, look, you know, I didn't get a chance to speak to them. Wasn't really sure if that's something I want to involve myself with, because it's not really what I stand for. Everybody who's been watching this channel for a long time knows that, you know, I treat everyone as my brother or sister, regardless of who you are. You know, I spent time out on the land with our indigenous tribes, you know, so that kind of white supremacy thing is certainly not something that I support or endorse. I want to make that very clear. But, you know, at the end of the day, can't help but wonder what is in the mind of these individuals that have made them this way. What has happened to them in their lives that has made them want to be that way? You know, hey, look, guys, if you're watching this and you feel you'd like to justify your stance, look, I'll give you the time of day, because I think that's the fair thing to do. I can't say that it would be being done in support of you know, white supremacy. I don't think we really need that kind of thing. It's not what we're about here at the North Queensland Freedom Network. We're here to bring everyone together for the benefit of all mankind, in particular here, the North Queenslanders, and then further out to Australia. Let's just start there. We can save the world on another day. Right now, let's just save ourselves, I think. But anyway, just because that was brought up, I thought I'd bring a bit of attention to that. Let's continue, shall we?
I love this kid. I love this kid.
I think this kid's going to be a future Prime Minister if he keeps going that way.
So in case you didn't quite catch that, Nick DeMeadows just said that he's our future Prime Minister, that young kid. Boy, did he have a lot of passion. So, yeah, awesome.
You're a lot better than what we've got.
Good on you, mate.
Don't think you'd have to try hard to outdo Elbow now, would you?
Ladies and gentlemen, I know there's a lot of people that want to speak today, but a lot of people want to hear this guy speak. Ladies and gentlemen, the Honourable Member for Kennedy, Bob Catter.
Apologies for the shakiness too, ladies and gentlemen. I'm holding this up over my head. You know, the arms were getting a bit tired. It's been a while since I've done this kind of shoot. Bit tricky, but look, it is what it is. Poor Bob had a bit of trouble. Might haven't had a chance to edit this.
When a pressure underneath it.
Can
you hear me? Yeah! That's the Eureka flag, and underneath it was written, when oppression becomes law, then resistance becomes... When oppression becomes law, then resistance becomes duty. When oppression becomes law, then resistance becomes duty. And underneath that was written, every man dies, but not every man lives. That is Australia. That is Australia.
Stand by your mates when he's in a fight.
Sort of started trying to divide us up into where you came from. They want to divide and conquer, right? So I got very mad, and a lot of people criticised me. But when I come off the aeroplane today, everyone was cheering and clapping and
When I saw the Australian flag get burned, it gutted me. In fact, the government couldn't even support us.
Sorry, that was one of the moments where the camera actually dropped out. I'm struggling in the background. An old mate here has actually introduced himself as a migrant, and that he had served a substantial amount of time. I can't remember exactly a time in the military. And, you know, when he's seen, you know, what was going on, he was pretty heaved, you know. And so obviously let's get that in context now that you understand he has served this country as a soldier, you know, and he is a migrant himself, and he's standing up for Australia.
When I saw the Australian flag get burned, it gutted me. Yeah. In fact, the government couldn't even support us. Yeah. Now, if you have a problem with this flag, you are the problem. Yeah. Okay, and I suggest if you don't like this place, go back. Yeah. If I won Lotto tomorrow and I won $80 million, everyone that wants to go back, I will give them a one-way ticket. Yes. Ladies and gents, that's all I've got to say.
Yeah, I served 20 years in the military. A lot of my mates also served a long, long time. One guy in particular, 32 years. Now we were really proud of being servicemen, and we're proud now of being veterans. And we stand by this flag. Our forebears stood by this flag, and no one has the right to burn our flag. This is our country, and we will be respected. That is the way it is. If you don't like how it is here, you know what you can do. You can go home and protest there. I'm Australian. I'm proud to be Australian. I'm proud to be a serviceman, and I'm even prouder that I'm with all you guys here, also Australian, and I'm now a veteran. So thanks for the time.
Thanks for your service.
Can you hear me? Alright everyone, I'm here as a young Australian. I came here today worried that I'm never going to be able to afford a home. And I came here and I saw a sea of...
We're all here because we're...
Apologies again. You know, old mate had a pretty passionate speech there to share about, you know, how, you know, as a young fella, he wasn't going to be able to have a home. Unfortunately, we didn't get the whole thing due to a technical issue. Here's our, yeah, I'll let you describe.
Fed up. We're fed up of our flag being burned. Tell us what we can do. This is Australia. Men and women fought and died for this flag. They built this country from their sweat and their blood. We will not disrespect this flag. Anyone who disrespects it can leave. If they do not want to leave, they will be removed. Thank you very much. Stop immigration! All right, does anyone else have anything they want to come up and say on the microphone? There's this young man here that's been calling out Aussie, Aussie, Aussie all day. Give him the microphone.
My family has been here for 186 years. We are Australian citizens. We need to fight for this country. As my friend here said, I won't be able to afford a house because of mass migration. Without this, we won't live. We will die broke. Our kids need this. We need this. Aussie, Aussie, Aussie! Oi, oi, oi! Aussie, Aussie, Aussie! Oi, oi, oi! Aussie, Aussie, Aussie! Oi, oi, oi! Aussie futures first! Aussie futures first!
Today I stand here for what I'm proud of. And if they're going to burn our flag, then they can go back to their home where they came from. What they do and what they say, they can go back. I'm standing here sick and tired of what they're saying. We were told that we couldn't raise our flag on our own national holiday. So let's raise it high and proud and tell them what we're proud of.
Aussie, Aussie, Aussie! Oi, oi, oi! Aussie, Aussie, Aussie! Oi, oi, oi! Aussie! Oi! Aussie! Oi! Aussie, Aussie, Aussie! Oi, oi, oi!
I'm probably the last person that should be here because I own a backpacker. Right? But my parents were wogs, so I was born here. here.
Yeah.
Basically, I'm sick of having people at the counter, locals looking for a fucking bed. Women from domestic violence that haven't got a bed. They've got nowhere to sleep. We have to turn them back. We haven't got enough room. Mass immigration is the problem here. We're just not set up. We can't deal with the amount of people that are coming in, and people are living in tents under bridges. This has to stop. It has to slow down. It's ridiculous.
I'll just give you the figures. 476,000 came in last year.
Shame! Go home!
I've got to double check this, but it appears to me that most of them came from countries with no democracy, no rule of law, no Christianity. I don't apologise for that. No industrial awards, and they're bringing them in here en masse. Now, they're going into Sydney and Melbourne. Guess where the political parties are controlled from? Sydney and Melbourne. Sydney and Melbourne. 92% of them that come in the last 12 years are going to Sydney and Melbourne. No jobs from there. No jobs from there. So your hard-earned taxes is going to look after it. Now, don't just blame Albanese. Most of those people, I'm not going to apologise for this either, most of them came in under the Liberal Party. And I don't see any evidence that they're going to change their spots either. But that doesn't solve the Prime Minister of Australia, who's, I'm sorry, he's very busy trying to get a meeting with Donald Trump.
Hey, shout us out to the communists. Who's gonna go?
I don't know if these people know, but there's actually these podcasts myself. There's information for everybody. We've got Muslims coming to the country. We've got Muslims coming into a country on podcasts, thanking the Australian government because they've helped them pay off their house. 4 wives, 9 girlfriends, and 18 children. This is like, there's nothing to buy, and once they pay off that house, they go for the another. There's nothing left for us anymore. Our future's gone down the gurgler.
100%.
Stop immigration!
We need to abolish the two-party system. The Labor and Liberal governments aren't doing anything for us, the Australian people. My sister was harassed by an immigrant. A refugee, an asylum seeker. He heckled her. She was 16. The government did nothing. Australia, the police did nothing because of the two-party system protecting them. She was held because of that. We need to protect our women, our sisters, our mothers, and our wives.
I'd just like to say that mass immigration is just one of the prongs of our attack. We are being attacked on all fronts, with the farmers, mass immigration, also with the cost of living, electricity, you name it, they're coming for us. They want us in pods, in clubs. It's not about the front men, they're just the puppets. It's about the World Economic Forum, United Nations, New World Order. I don't know how many of you here took the vaccination, but that was part of it. Also, I'd like to say thank you for being here, everybody. You're all legends. Oi, oi, oi.
Once again, ladies and gentlemen, I'm really proud of what I'm seeing out there today. Like I said earlier, this has been painted, these marches across Australia, in the lead up as something that it wasn't going to turn out to be. And you've all proved them wrong. Thank you very much for being Australian, looking after your mates, and standing up for what's right in this country. Thank you. I will say one last thing.
Stop immigration!
Stop immigration!
Stop immigration!
Stop immigration!
Stop immigration!
Stop immigration! Alright, Teddy Wong, listen for one thing. The people that decide on our policies in this country are the people that are running this country right now. If you want to stop immigration, if you want to change the way the government approaches farmers, you want to change the way the government approaches our taxing system, tell a member of parliament it's not here, exactly how you feel next week. That's the best way to get that message out there. Good job.
Yeah, I just want to say that I'm a very proud Australian. I spoke before, but I didn't mention my grandfather who fought in the First World War. My 6 uncles have fought in the Second World War. So I've got a long line of my family that have fought in this war. And I know now for a fact that turning over in their graves, yeah, they can see how things are working out right now. They would be absolutely gutted, upset. You wouldn't believe what's happening. So everyone who came here today, came here for a reason. Your voice has been heard.
You've made your voices heard, you've put your flags in the high, and you've been proud Australians. One more round of applause. Now it's North Queensland, it's bloody hot, so I'm not going to keep you here any longer, but what I will say is, as you're heading off, have a chat to each other, share your ideas, have a chat with a mate, and if you get a chance, go spend some money in those great local businesses in town here. They'll love you for it. I'll see you at the CG for a beer.
That was it, ladies and gentlemen. It was pretty short and sweet there, but yeah, wait. It's a Demtel commercial. There's still more.
Stand up for our culture. It's being eroded. Everything about Australian culture, as I remember a bit growing up as a child, it's being undone. Completely undone. Our society is unravelled completely. Our Anzacs did not fight for what is happening today. They would be disgusted in the country that they helped build.
On you, mate.
We've got to have momentum. We can't just let it go. That's it.
What do you reckon our solutions are, my friend?
Stop immigration. Point blank. These immigrants are coming in. They're buying businesses. That is helping them get their visas. They don't assimilate into our culture. They segregate themselves. They don't... Yeah, the Greeks and the Italians, when I grew up as a child, they contributed to our country. The Vietnamese, they contributed. They wanted to blend to this. These new ones, we don't need them. We don't want them.
We don't want Sharia law either.
We don't want them.
And I'm an immigrant. I've been in this country for 40 years and I'm marching for freedom of speech, future generations, the farmers, and this government destroying of Australia. Disgusting. Yeah, that's what I'm standing up for.
And it's great to see, how many people were there, and how easy people were willing to work. It was a in and out job. Sorry, we we do things quickly in Townsville. There's as Nick said, see you down the pub for a beer. So I already didn't have time to go and meet you at the beer, Nick. Meet you at the pub for a beer. But I got some homebrew to have with you in honor, and every one of you beautiful Australians out there that is very, very concerned about just how bad our government is running things. So sips all you brave Australians. But wait, there's still more.
We definitely need new government. It goes way back to the 80s, 70s, when Australia was great. Let's get back there. Get rid of the ones who are sucking blood of every Australian. Thank you.
Short, sweet, and to the point. There was another quick message here from Nick while I quickly bring in something else.
That everybody's come out today to march for the one reason we're all here. That's to show you how proud we are to be Australian. This week, the media painted this that it could have turned into anything, but we knew that good people were out there wanting to stand up for everything that it means to be Australian. I can't speak for the rest of the country, but right here in Townsville, we're doing it right.
Sorry, just one man trying to run the show. Too many files, too many places to go. But Nick's made an interesting point there. Let's have a look at one of the pieces that what was said before the mainstream media attempted to make Mr. Bob Catter look like an asshole.
Their names, because we have had a tradition of toleration. These people are not tolerating us. So you won't tolerate us, we want you out of this country, right? Because this country is fed up with your, we must be nice to everybody. Well, I'm not particularly nice to people that crossed the border, invaded another country and murdered over 1,200 people. Tick the boxes. Do they have democracy? Do they have rule of law? Do they have Christianity or some similar belief system? Do they have egalitarian traditions? Do they have industrial awards? Now, if they don't tick the boxes, they don't come here. If you have anti-Australian sentiments, then get the hell out of my country.
Does anybody have a problem with that? Like, if you come to this country to cause problems, why are we allowing them to stay? Why are we helping them? Like, seriously. I don't know what you think, ladies and gentlemen. Personally, I'm kind of the opinion that if you've come to this country, you've been here all of, 5 minutes, 5 months, 5 years even, and you go and commit horrific crimes, then straight out. Do not pass go. No stuffing around. Like, we need to send a loud, clear message to people when they come to this country. You either respect the people and other people around you. It's not hard. It's just respect. If you can't do that, then why would we support them? I don't understand how anybody can support people who come to this country and treat people with disrespect. Got me. I actually haven't seen this one. I just it was something I saved with the intention of watching before this. I like to vet things, but I'm just going to have faith that Bob got it right. Here's a little video that he put out.
March. And if there is a member of the mainstream parties there, throw eggs at them, please. Throw something at them. They have no right to march. They have sold our country out. Now, the Liberals want to prove that, we're very liberal-minded. We bring these people in that are totally different to us. See how little L liberal-minded we are? The ALP gets in and they say, we can branch stack with them. They'll all vote Labor. We'll see to that. We'll bring them in on condition they vote Labor. So you've got two parties selling you out. Now, 92% of the people coming to Australia over the last 12 years have gone effectively to Sydney and Melbourne. There is no jobs there. All of the processing plants, all of the factories have gone. The motor car industry is gone. The underwear industry is gone. There are no jobs there. So what are they doing there? How dare you bring these people to our country and then have them be looked after by the public purse? Take money off every single Australian who's struggling to buy food for his family. And you bring these people in, they go on the dole because there's no work for them. In Sydney and Melbourne, there's no work for anyone much in Sydney and Melbourne, except from the public purse. So,
glad I had faith in that one. I think it was well warranted. Look, there's a lot of concerns getting around here. Street. If you haven't seen this, actually, I'll bring it up. I'll come back to that one. It reminded me, in the interests of the people, if I forget, somebody drop it in the comments. This is one I actually haven't watched. I had a quick squiz at it, and I thought, you know what, I think this is something here. Again, due to time restraints, I'm going to watch it live with you, ladies and gentlemen. Let's see what it is. Cross your fingers.
As we know today, it's all about achieving their goal to sabotage Western civilization from within, and unfortunately, I'm sorry to say, they are succeeding. They found several documents. One of them, it's called the Explanatory Memorandum of the Muslim Brotherhood Strategy in North America, and it details the strategy of the Muslim Brotherhood to infiltrate ideologically, democratically, through non-violent means North American society to sabotage it from within. They even use this phrase, through launching what they call civilizational jihad, manipulating the political system, manipulating democracy. And they said very clearly that the key tool they are going to use to do that is the Palestinian cause, to bring the Muslim communities together and to get support from other communities to make people sympathize with their causes. And one other thing was mentioned in this document as well, Islamophobia. And it was based on another document that's called The Project. And the project is much broader. It's about the strategy of the Muslim Brotherhood in the West in general. So yes, all of what we're seeing today is not new. It's not a reaction to a humanitarian situation in Gaza. It's not random protesting in sympathy with people in war. No, it's very well planned, and they knew that this is their moment to target the Jewish communities. Because also, if you look at their protests, it's not about supporting the Palestinian people. It's not about giving them a Palestinian state or giving them a better future. No, it's all about Jew hatred, going after American Jewish students. How this is going to serve Palestine or the Palestinian cause. It's all about achieving their goal, and unfortunately, I'm sorry to say, they are succeeding.
Pretty disturbing, you know, and you know, for those people who have come to places like Australia, America, and other Western cultures to escape these kinds of people who have a specific agenda to push, you know, a specific ideology, perhaps, or even a religious construct. It's good that they're stepping up and saying these things, and pointing out that, hang on, there is a problem here, and we here in Australia need to take that seriously. Clearly, our Australian government, for the most part, is not. You know, these are not those. That's not my words. I don't know if you noticed, but I don't look like that. You know, I'm good with special effects, but I'm not that good. I have to put that out there. So that's you know, someone else's voice is there that's calling attention to these things. If you haven't read it, Struth, I can't think of off the top of my head. So my journey out of Islamic extremism, you know, and this is a, you know, a very radical, it's called radical. Yeah, I'll bring it up so you can see radical, my journey out of Islamist extremism. A really good book. I know I've mentioned this in previous podcasts. Highly recommend people have a look at this, because this is what we're up against in a lot of ways. And you know, it's not just about the Islamic thing. There's obviously, you know, a Chinese Communist Party element to these things, and multiple other, you know, threats to Western society, Australian society, and various other things. But this is a really good one, because this is, again, from a former Muslim extremist himself. His view on how it was, how he was brought into the things, what made him who he was, and why he turned away from it. Very, very good book. I highly recommend people look at it, because one of the things that really stood out to me in this particular book is how he pointed out that the woke colleges and universities and places like that were breeding grounds for this, because their ultimate, let's be nice to everyone, as you know, to quote Bob Catter there, attitude just facilitates it. You know, it's like, look, you be nice to everybody to start with. Hey, g'day, how you going, mate? What's going on? Nothing wrong with that. But when someone spits in your face, you knock them out. Simple, straightforward stuff. You know, respect is due, respect is given, but disrespect is also due where disrespect is given. You know, there's two sides to the scale, last I checked. Just thought I'd put that out there. Basic observation. But you look, check that out. I highly recommend it. What I was talking about earlier, though, and no need to remind me, I've remembered Australia's secret pedophile tape from the In the Interests of the People. I'm going to drop this here in the comments for you guys to go and have a look at. John Adams and Martin North have been doing some great work for a long time. I've been watching this podcast for a long time. They actually took quite a substantial break recently, and this has just been released 6 days ago. Highly recommend you go and have a look at it. It's very disturbing stuff. And of course, I think it was the ABC. Let's have a look at the thing. It doesn't mention which one it is. I think it was, I'm pretty sure it was the ABC. If not, it was the SBS. Sorry, whichever one it is. forgive me for not 100% remembering. I watched this a few days ago. Highly recommend people have a look at this because, you know, we are drowning in filth, you know, and it's not just the migrants we've got to worry about. It's the elitist scum that want to rape children. Like that's a serious thing we've got to deal with here, ladies and gentlemen. I know it's something you don't want to hear about. It's not something you want to swallow. It's who wants to swallow? Anyway, look, let's face it. We have a lot of problems and we have to start being a little bit braver. You know, the three wise monkeys is very appropriate in this picture. You know, we can't just cover our eyes, block our ears and cover our mouths. We need to be brave enough. We need to put our big boy pants on and our big lady dresses on, or whatever, you know, your persuasion is, and start dealing with these issues. You can't, no more heads in the sand. You can't carry a bucket around filled with sand and shove your head in it at will anymore. Things need to change. We're in a lot of trouble, and I like to think that perhaps there are people in the military. I know there's this whole QAnon thing, and it's white hats this and black hats that, and all these different colored hats and all this other stuff. I'd like to think that perhaps the military who has sworn allegiance, particularly here in Townsville, to this country and the people within it, and they are sworn, as I understand it, correct me if I'm wrong, to defend us from enemies, foreign and domestic, seem to have a lot more domestic problems than foreign, in my opinion. You know, the only wars we've seemed to have been in are the ones that were started by other people, and for some reason we get involved in it. It has nothing to do with this. Why are we throwing our own perfectly good security force away to fight somebody else's war? We should be worried about ourselves, in my opinion. I would like to think that those people are thinking a good long strategy here for how to remove this kind of sick fuckery from our system. You know, we have some serious problems. We need to deal with that. Just thought I'd point it out. Have a look. There's so much going on at the moment, ladies and gentlemen. Actually, here's another one I just seen come up here. I have to check it. Where was it from? It says only a small group, nothing to worry about. I'm not sure exactly what city this is, but well, it's another one of those, you know, when we looked at the numbers earlier, they're trying to play it down. There's only a few, probably, you know, anyway.
How you going, Councillor?
Hello there, Mr.
Well, that was short. Look, at the end of the day, you can see people from all around are gathering pretty hard at this particular juncture in time to get shit going. I am desperately trying to smash this together, fly by the seat of my pants. You know, I had the illusion of doing this at 3 o'clock. By God, was I delusional when thinking that? I don't know why I brought that up. Wrong button again. Share screen. So this is one I seen Elon post the other day. I thought it was pretty funny, you know, especially after being at Roast Tattoo and watching Angry rip into it. This may trigger some people. Trigger alert, warning. I was born a man, but I identify as a woman. Who are you to judge? Well, I identify as a judge. Cop that. Cop that, ladies and gentlemen. And ultimate solution when you have to argue with an idiot, that's the best way to deal with it. I identify as a judge, and I am judge, jury, and executioner in this scenario. But anyway, I promised I'd talk about Shane Knuth, or how to yak to him. Again, apologies. The gear did drop out. He was very understanding, so thanks heaps, Shane, for being wary of this. This will answer that question we were dealing with earlier about, you know, some of those we don't really want to identify with, but I am curious as to know why they are, you know, the way they are. But here it is.
Shane, a lot of places you could have chosen to be today. Why Townsville?
Yeah, well, no, this is, you know, my old stomping ground, and also, you know, the 4KAP members. It's good for all of us to get together, you know, to make an impact here. This is a very, very serious issue. Times have changed. There's a lot of frustration out there. You know, we've got the cost of living. We've got, you know, like people can't get accommodation. You know, people are out on the street, and we've got ourselves in the situation, you know, where we used to protest, you know, protect our assets, our industry, our jobs, you know, we were there for the people. When you start seeing protesters, you know, down there in Brisbane and Sydney, you know, where they're carrying terrorist flags, you know, and terrorist banners and burning our flags, you've got to say, you know, what the hell's going on here? And you've got to say enough isn't enough. This is, and if they don't like this country, if they hate this country, well, we don't want you here. So we want to ensure that we've got a safe country. We want to ensure that people can get a home. You know, we want to ensure that people can, the quality of life can improve, you know, by working hard. You know, we don't want, you know, to see synagogues blowing up. We don't want to see these protests, you know, with foreign flags flying everywhere. We want to promote the Australian flag. We want to acknowledge those that fought and fell and died for this country. And by their sacrifices, we've inherited the freedoms and the prosperity to this day. These are the people that we need to honour. And this gives me the incentive to support everywhere. We're Aussies. Everyone comes from all different places, you know, but we love our flag, love our country, you know, and we believe that in honouring those that have fought and fell, that's died, you know, for this country.
Look, one thing I want to address is some gentlemen there dressed in black suits. I have a feeling the mainstream media is going to paint this out as some sort of neo-Nazi rally. What are your thoughts and responses preemptively to that?
Well, look, everyone's got their different reasons of why they're here, you know, but our reason why we're here is we're seeing big issues that are taking place, where we see now protesters, you know, that are in Cairns, that are actually in Melbourne, that are in Sydney, in Brisbane. They're carrying, you know, terrorist flags, and they're also burning our flags. You know, this is not Australia. And if they don't like our flag, well, you know, don't come here and live here. If they're going to burn our flag, we don't want you here.
Do you think that kind of attitude, like bringing in these people who are not being compatible, who are burning our flag, is actually breeding a neo-Nazi sort of a movement?
Well, you know, one of the things is to believe in the rule of law. And, you know, we want people that come from countries that believe in the rule of law, you know, that understand our democratic, you know, system, you know, that loves their fellow man, that understands that this country was founded on Christian principles. These are very important to us. And as we look out there, when we're seeing, you know, flags everywhere that are flowing, that are not Australian flags, you say, hey, hold on, you know, where are we going with this? You know, and when you're starting to see synagogues blowing up, when you start to see a lot of, you know, like assaults, you know, in the main street, and different races, you know, persecuted, you know, you're saying, well, we must stop this. We must protect our country. This is a great country, and that's why our forefathers fought hard and died and fell, so that we could have the freedoms to march. You know, not get out there and burn the flag. They fought under this flag, and they gave us the right, you know, to protest. We want to protect that right.
There you go. You know, it was a rather typical politician answer. Aren't you worried about these things? I mean, swift and to the point. There's lots of reasons people are here. May not be our reasons, you know. Doesn't look good for them politically. I'm very curious to see what the lamestream is going to say. Personally, I don't see them, you know, working with these people, although that has been said of them in the past. There was some trouble quite some time ago. I can't remember the guy's name. What was that guy's name again? It was a good 8 years ago. And the Katter Party ended up giving him the flick after saying that they supported everything that he said. It was a bit rough, I thought, you know. Anybody help me out? What was that guy? He was a senator, and they ended up removing him, you know, because he stood up and, you know, said what a lot of people were thinking at the time. And who's the control up here? Yeah. I'm a bit concerned about some of these things, that's for sure, you know, because at the end of the day, it's all about coming together and being peaceful. That's the important thing, ladies and gentlemen. You know, we're not here. This is something else. It's, I don't know, maybe somebody can help me out with this one. I've seen it getting around at the moment. Apparently, a whole bunch of coppers come to arrest a 14-year-old for defending herself. I don't know much about it. It was one of those ones I intended to look into, but as usual, no time. So, you know, and when I did have time, you know what I did? I bloody slept because I needed it. So, look, let's have a look at this one together. Maybe you guys can help me out.
Die hat schon blaues Fleck da hinten bei ihm.
Ist hier nicht weg. Platz!
Entspannt. Nein! So an die Arme ziehen! Warum muss man einen minderjährigen so an die Arme ziehen? Warum muss man
Einmal aus dem Weg, Polizei, weg! Offen! Ja! So, und da wird zugemacht. Keiner kommt hier rein. Einmal bitte hier rüber.
I'm not sure what we're seeing here, ladies and gentlemen. Anybody know anything about that one? Or... Apparently, 14-year-old girl defending herself was basically the thing. I thought it'd be something I'd look into. I thought we might get a bit more out of that video. Sorry, I think we just jumped down the wrong path there. Look, at the end of the day, it is what it is. Here's another one I looked at. Apparently, the Victorian Premier got a little bit of a talking to recently. I haven't had a chance to vet it. We're going to find out for ourselves live. Let's find out what the hell this is. Police. Wow. Look, I don't know about that. Sometimes I can see why people would feel that way. That's for sure.
The bush gives you something you simply can't find anywhere else. The fresh air, the quiet, the space. And the sense of community and connectedness. For me, as I raise my kids with my husband in central Victoria, for us it's heading out with the dogs and the kids into the bushland around our house, or starting my day walking through the gum trees. It's watching my kids climb trees, chase the dogs through the shrub, catch fish and lose themselves in nature. That's what grounds us. And if I could just maybe request, I know there's differences of views. One of the things that makes me proud of living in regional Victoria is I turn up and we turn up and listen and respect one another. And I simply ask,
I just have to point out, these people here that have Australian flags wow, it's amazing how much people want to fly them flags these days. It's amazing, Are they racist? I don't know.
And I simply ask if I can conclude my remarks, and I do so with great respect. And I hope those here today can show respect to others who may be tuning in and allow the proceedings of the day to show the best of country Victoria. This.
I don't know about you, ladies and gentlemen, I thought they were showing country Australia's best and telling this useless twat exactly where to go. My God, what an idiot. So, the people of Ballarat have been standing up good and strong, as I understand it. Polish joined farmers in Ballarat protest as, yet again, the Victorian government leads the way in Australian tyranny. The CFA volunteers and others are coming out of Ballarat on Friday morning. Conditions didn't diffuse farmers, joined by politicians and farming bigwigs. Excusez-moi. Head of Herald Sun Bush, the Herald Sun Bush somehow. You wouldn't want your name attached to that now, would you, Herald Sun? Really? The signs, tractors, and fleet of fire trucks filed the streets in front of the Civic Hall. Yep, you can see them all. Yep, Australia is on the verge of absolute chaos, isn't it? In a showy entrance, these people arrived aboard. Oh, we got some of the Victoria Senate. Senators arrived aboard tractors, stepped out calling for the government to listen to the voices of regional Australia. Well, that'd explain why Albo's been talking so much about it. You'll have to forgive me. I've been too busy slave to the grind for just enough money to be broke to really analyse things lately. So I'm just kind of doing a quick skim as we go. Protests left, right and centre. The Labor government is, wading in fecal matter at the moment. Yep. There we go. Weak leader equals weak country. Have your power bills gone down? No. Pretty simple observation, some might say, truth for families and farmers. Where is our climate report? And you can see these people are, really braving it in Ballarat, and beanies and jackets and stuff. It's the weather's doing its usual thing that it does in Ballarat, in my personal experience, and it's uninviting. But these people are out there passionately, nonetheless. Good on them. Scrap the tax. You know, I mean, Struth, when a large portion of your firefighting service is voluntary, you really don't want to piss them off. And that, you know, inside information I was given during the COVID madness was here in Queensland, they didn't push the jabby spicy needle, as some might say, upon the fire department, because half the fire department were volunteers. So you can't really threaten people who are turning up voluntarily. Hey, if you don't take this, you can't work for free. Wow, what's my motivation here? So apparently the Queensland government actually had a stroke of intelligence, a couple of brain cells rubbed together. I don't know, maybe while they were doing some untoward acts to children, bumped a couple of heads, some brain cells got going, and they realized they couldn't do that to the people. You know, it's interesting. But you know what? They still think they want to do it. The Liberals will scrap the tax, apparently. Really? Have you ever heard of the Liberal Party scrapping a tax? I can't actually recall that ever happening. Please help me. I may be wrong. I might be wrong. But as far as I understand it, both Liberal and Labor are very good at making sure taxes don't get scrapped. You know, it's been my opinion that well, it's been my experience that taxes go on, they never come off. Much like Labor's Alco Pop tax. You remember that one? They were supposed to stop underage drinking by attacking things like pre-mixed rum and Coke and, you know, vodka cruises and things like that. When anybody who is, you know, a young drunken teenager would know that it was a $10 chuck, the good old goon sack. You weren't buying the high price drinks, especially when the GST was on it. GST thing came in. It was one of the only good things I remember it actually doing, was taking the cost of a 6-pack of Jim Beam mixed cans to a reasonable price. I remember, wow, you can actually buy a carton of Cougar, I think it was the weapon of choice at that particular time, or a case of Bundy, 24, and it was like $35, $40. You know, have a look at it now. $120, I believe, is the last time I seen it for a carton of those kind of pre-mixed drinks. You can thank Labor for that. Although they did come out and make a press release stating that, oh, you know what, we got it wrong. You know, you know, it wasn't really attacking them. Again, we've attacked the worker class. You know, those people we pretend to give a shit about, and we're going to repeal that tax. And then I think it was about a week later. Oh, sorry, we can't afford to do that. I can't remember. What was it? It was Kevin Dudd. That's right. Kevin Dudd needs a new ivory back scratcher. So, you know, the government is in a lot of trouble in lots of different ways. Now, they're going to try and tar everybody with the same brush here, I think. They're going to keep going along with the, we're going to push the neo-Nazi, we're going to push the racist thing, because they're running out of, it's the only card that they seem to have, you know, particularly when they're importing people left, right, and center, and the only ones left voting for them. We're going to push that racist card. It's all they've got. At the end of the day, these are legitimate concerns, concerns for everybody. I don't care where you come from. No farms, no food, no future. That's pretty straightforward. It's very simple stuff, you know. Without power, how are you going to run your electric vehicles to save us from climate change? Oh, no, save us, Jeebus. Please, Jeebus, save us from climate change. How are we going to do that? We can't pay for the fucking bill. Come on. Even me, somebody who's having a drink, can figure these things out. It's really simple stuff. Oh, please, Labor, please, socialism, please, communism, save me. I don't know, like, it's all madness as far as I'm concerned. I'm not buying it. I am not buying any of this. What about you? So I went on a rant there. I felt possessed. Oh, Jeebus running all through me. Stop your taxes. It's not compulsory. It's a lovely idea. I would love to stop taxes. Did anybody got any suggestions of how you not pay taxes when absolutely everything you do is taxed? I'm surprised we haven't got I mean, perhaps this is what the carbon emissions is breath tax. You know, we used to joke about that in school. I remember when I was in primary school, joking about water and having to pay for it. And not long after, there was bottled water all of a sudden everywhere. I mean, wow. became a thing real quick. It was no longer a joke. And I'm like, wow, what else is going to be a joke? We used to joke about, air being free too, Now, I believe it was a bit of a racial slur in there. I'm not going to repeat it given the nature of what's going on. But air's free. Spaceballs did it. Spaceballs did it quite well with the can of air canned in Druidia. For those of you who haven't seen Spaceballs, go and check it out. Wonderful idea there. And I can't help but feel the whole carbon credit thing is a tax on air. How dare you breathe for free? Look out, ladies and gentlemen. You're breathing. That's a waste of air. You used to say things like, somebody else could be breathing that air. What a waste of flesh. I look at Parliament House and I can't help but feel that. I really do feel that comment. But anyway, let's wrap this up, I believe. We're kind of coming to a close. There's so many things I could rant and rave about, but I should probably think about it a little bit more. So I think what we'll do here, 500 live viewers. Love all you 500 live viewers now. And I know there'll be thousands upon thousands by tomorrow. So thank you all very much for tuning in to watch us live. And to everybody who's going to watch us in the future, especially those of you who watched us in the past. Now, that was a talent. Well done. You knew what I was going to do before I did. Now, that's good. So sips to you, time traveling people. Anyway, let's end out on the actual full length version. Now, again, I've chucked a couple of songs in here. Two of my favorite songs that I had the first one, Bogan Nation, was a group effort. Van Diemen's Land is pretty much my little baby. I'd say 95% of that song is my writing, which will be our second song. Our third song is from my old band, Convicted Souls, even before Bogan Nation. And I'm in the process of redoing this song because I feel it needs a little bit more of a modern spin to it. But even in its early days, and this is like very early 2000, I think that was recorded, it was very relevant then, and it's probably even more relevant now. So I'm going to leave you one final sips. And thanks heaps to all you amazing Townsvillians who turned up today in Townsville. Big thanks to all the amazing Australians who turned up all around the country to let the government know you're in trouble. You're wading down a river full of fecal matter and you seem to have no paddle. Sink or swim? I'm hoping you sink. Well, that's just me. Well, here is the alleged 400 people. Yeah, I'm pretty sure we count more than that in a minute or two. But anyway, judge for yourselves. Here's the real-time march, and honestly, I'm watching this go past. I'm thinking, I'm never getting ahead of that. Is it like I'm just going to sit here? There are other vantage points I got from my phone, which I'll tie in later. I will do a proper version of this, just the march itself, for those of you who want to see a shorter version and perhaps share it with your friends and whatnot. But this is what I've got to deal with in the time frame I've had. Unfortunately, I've got to do a little bit of work to fix a few things here in the office. Shit ain't working. I just haven't had time to maintain things, and when you don't maintain things, it falls apart. So thank you all very much for watching. Do consider becoming a Patreon and helping us out. And the various other links and descriptions in the links in the descriptions for the Gaia network, for Stake. If you wish to invest, it's me helping everybody as you get something out of this as much as you put in, sort of thing. Hey, look, if you do take up the Stake investment and you invest in things and it works out for you, drop me a line at nqfreedomnetwork@protonmail.com. Let me know if it worked out for you. Hey, maybe we can trade some ideas. I'm certainly not somebody broker or have any financial knowledge. And I'd like to emphasize what is said at the beginning of this. This is just fundamentally my opinion and the opinions of others that I've displayed here. The most important thing is, ladies and gentlemen, you think for yourselves. Big final sips to you all here. We drink together in Aussie mateship for the betterment of mankind. Let's all come together as one and sort this big problem out that we have called government, because it's not a cost of living crisis. It's a cost of government crisis. Here you go, ladies and gentlemen.
Good, mate, yourself? Love your shirt.
Elbows, let it go.
Hey, Bob, how are you, mate? Yeah, it's going to be one hell of a run here. Hey, how are ya? North Queensland Freedom Network, check us out. North Queensland Freedom Network, brother. Of course.
Elbows a traitor.
How are you, mate? Good, man. It's been a while.
Stop the immigration!
People kill today. Conspiracy makes it okay that it will pave the way towards a brighter day. Escape your born today. Cause someone's got to pay. Advertise and sell. Without this product or life, it will be a living hell. But wait, there's still more. You're treating nature like fucking a hoe.
Speed it up, so no worries, make sure you let everybody know. Make sure everybody knows. Cheers, man. Peter, how are you? Good, mate, good. Oh, I'm doing my man. It's better, a lot better, but it's up and down. I've got to keep sending. What is your lower fat. I'll bring down. That's why I got Alright, then we might call that there. Anyway, there you go. That's the full length version, close to 14 minutes, close to 15. Can't remember exactly. But I had another thought towards it. Before we end. Because there's always those out there. Oh, you're racist, fucking idiots who got the lefty bag of insults because they don't actually have a logical argument. And I've defeated so many of these people over the years with simple logic. It's really not hard. All you have to do is just not get angry and don't feed their stupidity and just give them basic, cold, hard logic. And this is another perfect example of this. This is a wonderful example of a migrant that is welcome in this country, because it's not that we're not welcoming to people. It's that we want the right kind of people. And this fella come from another country. And, I really want to illustrate this point too. Unless you are 100% pure blood Aboriginal, migrancy is in you. We're all migrants in some way, shape, or form when you really think about all of that. And there's still debate whether they came from somewhere else too. Who fucking knows? I don't really know. They keep so much information away from us. Is anybody actually native to this land? At the end of the day, are we all native to the planet Earth at the very least? But anyway, all the philosophical points aside, here is a migrant's point of view on immigration in Australia.
thinking about immigration in Australia at the moment? So I call this the Aussie immigration complex, and this is just my humble 2 cents opinion. So don't roast me too out in the comments. So at the moment, we have the federal government, which is the cinema over here, represented by someone behind the counter selling tickets. And over here is our country, represented by a movie. The movie is called Australia. Now, obviously, when you go see a movie at Event Cinema or Hoyts, for example, the seats are quite limited. And these seats are a metaphor for our limited housing. Now, obviously, some of us are already sitting in one of these seats. Either we have purchased the seats, which means we own the seat, or we have a mortgage against the seat, or some of us are renting these seats, for example, paying rent. Now, talking from a migrant's perspective, for example, I'm a migrant myself, my family's are migrants. The normal process is that, we hear that Australia is the next biggest new movie, the next biggest blockbuster. We can't wait to line up at the cinema to watch this movie. So what happens, naturally, all over the world, obviously non-Australians would line up at the cinemas to purchase tickets to then see this new movie called Australia. And obviously, the person who's selling the ticket, because, the status over here is like, well, there's still seats available. You can go in. And then people line up, and then they buy tickets, and they go in. But then what happens is, due to limited housing, limited seats, limited space, the cinema is packed with people, and the status now is full. But what happens if the mofo sitting behind the cinema counter continues to sell tickets to let people in? Like, people are still lining up. This mofo, the dorky, pimple, teenage mindset politician, decides to keep selling tickets so people keep coming in to watch this bloody movie called Australia. Now, what happens is the existing people that are watching this beautiful movie called Australia, they were fine before, but then more people come in, and then, people are walking in front of the fucking movie and going, yalla, yalla, and another one's like, oh, baby, habibi, and another one is like, ni hao ma, blah, 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 and then the people over here were like, who are these motherfuckers? Why are you guys blocking the screen? While I'm sitting at the back over here because I can't afford gold class because, I'm not VIP. I'm just like a middle class Australian having a fucking rant. And then next to me is an Indian mate. And he's like, brother, do not say that you are Chinese. Those people are Chinese. Do not say that you came from immigration too. And while I'm sitting over here with my large size popcorn, which I bought at the candy store, which used to cost $5 many years ago, but now due to inflation is now $20, which I'm really pissed off already. I remember back then, I came here on the premise that it wasn't full, it wasn't packed, and there were people in front of my fucking face while I'm trying to enjoy this movie called Australia. I lined up, I bought the tickets, I came in. I'm having a rant because the place is full. There shouldn't be more people coming in. And suddenly no one's enjoying this movie called Australia anymore, right? In the cinemas, everyone's bickering, right? I'm having a fight with this Indian mate. Over here, Lebo's having a fight with another Italian. Greek's having a fight with the Chinese. Whatever it is, everyone's bickering over here. And while we're doing this, old mate at the fucking cinema is then walking back to the back office over here, counting his stash. Look how many fucking tickets I've sold. Man, I'm gonna make bank before I retire. In the midst of this guy's evil laughter and the bickering of the existing locals in the cinema, the new residents that come into Australia because they are promised, this ticket, you can watch the beautiful Australia, they come in and go, what the fuck is happening? Then we have a new migrant coming in and go like, hey, excuse me, can I sit down? I'm new here. And the person sitting down over here is like, fuck off, mate, you dickhead. And then this new migrant over here gets a bit scared and runs to another migrant and goes, oh my God, these people over here are racist. And as we slowly zoom back out in a bird's eye view, we start to identify the Aussie immigration complex. We start to see the people in this cinema, regardless of those who have a seat or those who do not have a seat, they all have the intention to watch this beautiful movie called Australia. That is their intention. And instead of hating on each other and blaming each other for the limited seating in the cinema while we're trying to watch this movie called Australia and be divided by our cultural differences, let's just agree we all got duped by this cunt over here. All right? This cunt is still selling tickets, and this cunt is raising prices at the candy store. This cunt always wants us to be divided, fighting against each other so that we do not pay attention to what they're really doing, making bank every day at the back office. Well, they keep selling tickets to the potential moviegoers of the world, which watch a trailer of Australia and go, wow, I want to come into this country. But they do not know that we're full. We have limited housing, limited seats. In my own humble opinion, the only way to solve the Aussie immigration complex is for those who have a seat, every person stand up. Boom, 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 boom. and align with those who are walking around. Let's together march towards the entrance, and the mass mob over here overthrows this motherfucker over here and burn this motherfucking cinema down. Yeah, I know it's kind of dystopian, dramatic, but you know, what other solution do we have? Jump in the comments, let me know what you think.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, I'm not the one saying you should go and rise up and tear these people out of the place and burn the cinema down. That came from a Chinaman. That's another immigrant who come and said that was not me. Okay, so I'm not even like somebody sent that to me. I'm not even sure who that is or where it come from. But you know what? I'd happily buy that man a fuck off, we're full sticker and a beer at the same time and say, mate, welcome to Australia. Glad to have you here. So I know I said we'd go out on this and go out on that, but you know what? I'm feeling passionate. I'm inspired, and I haven't addressed some of the comments that are coming up. So they're rolling in right now. If my lovely family can just hold up for a second here, let's deal with some of the things that we've called attention to. Tataskew, yo, Batty, Brisbane is having a great turnout. It's so massive. Good on the organisers. Who the hell are these organisers? I don't know. You know, it's been alleged it was some rich kid somewhere who just put a social media post out and it just went viral. I don't know if I'm buying that, but at the end of the day, it's worked out well in Townsville. It sounds like it's working well in Brisbane, and I hope it's working well in the rest of Australia, in the sense that we are getting our Australian voice out there for all of us who migrated here. Because let's face it, according to census data, less than 1 million people in this country right now, which is roughly 27 to 28 million, possibly more. I don't know how far they've taken the immigration. Less than 1 million of those people are Indigenous of origin, and they're probably not even pure blood. So let's put that in the context. But Elbow last year imported 400,000. Which is roughly half the population of the Indigenous people. Eat that one, mainstream media. All right. Kerry Hadlow has said, would have been there, but not enough fuel. Kerry, come on. You watch this show. Should have hit me up. Could have got your lift or something. Somebody could have helped you out. This is where we're going to get community minded and help each other out. You know, like, if you don't know freedom fighters by now, maybe we need a North Queensland Freedom Network meetup where we all get to just hang out and just talk shit, you know, for no other reason to have a beer and meet each other in person. So drop me a line. Let's see what we can do. Butterfly Heart 65, one of wonderful followers. Big sips to you. Hi, Batty. WA March went south. Robin was in there shouting them down. Then they attacked her. Holy shit. Well, I have to, last I checked, everything was going well in WA. So things went a bit bad, eh? All right. We will keep you updated. I believe there is a Cafe Locked Out show. So for those of you watching us on the North Queensland Freedom Network, check out Cafe Locked Out. I believe we only have Fort CLO. So it is Fort, F-O-R-T, space C-L-O, because we can't actually say Cafe Locked Out on Facebook. I might have even been banned just for saying that. You can't say that on Facebook. So check out X, Facebook, and Rumble are the only place you can find Cafe Locked Out these days. And it has, you know, Facebook has it as Fort Cafe Locked Out. For those of you who don't know, we get a 10-year ban for telling the truth. So look, thanks for letting us know, Butterfly. I will keep an eye on that one. I know I do this all the time. I'm really sorry. Leander Kelly, hi, Batty. I just got home from the Sydney rally. Great turnout in Sydney. That's awesome. So I'm guessing nothing went bad there. Let me know. Beautiful family commenting section. Let me know if she responds. That'd be great to know. Anywhere anyone's been today, if it's been a great rally, let us know. Just give us a quick 1 to 2 sentence sort of, hey, this is our experience, this is what happened. That'd be awesome. Janine, how you going? Courage in the queue also did a great job. That's good. I hope she's all right. We'll find out. Eh? Tweety Bird, fantastic march in Sydney. So many people turned up. Same in Melbourne. Elbow must go. That's right. We need, the MAGA movement is make elbow go away. Unfortunately, we were somewhat unsuccessful during the last election. Do we really need to wait for another one? There's got to be some way we can remove these people beforehand. So anyway, stay tuned. If there's a way, we will find it. Ian Wells, Mackay had around 1,500. Oh, that's good. That's really good. Thanks for letting us know, Ian. Much appreciated, mate. Awesome. So any other comments letting us know what's going on around the rest of the country? It seems relatively successful. Apparently, Robin from Courage of the Cure, also another one of our wonderful Cafe Locked Out community people, has had a bit of a problem. I'll look into this. I believe Michael will probably do a show because he usually does on a Sunday night. I didn't see Robin attack. Perhaps verbally they did. Okay, cool. Hope she's all right, because she's an amazing freedom fighter, an amazing human being, and someone we certainly need on our side here. So, what else we got? Any more comments? And what's this one? Although so much smaller, Darwin was lovely. A few 100, very peaceful. Okay, that's a bit sad. It was only 100. Maybe they flew out of Darwin to go find a better place. I don't know. Darwin's a beautiful place. Don't get me wrong. I love Darwin. I think it's, one of the first times being in Darwin, I felt a massive connection to the earth. There's something very magical about the top end. That's for sure. That's why I'm here in Townsville. There's something magical about this place as well. There's a lot of corruption and some dark energies, particularly from our vile council who can't even collect bins. Can you imagine being so useless you can't even fulfill your primary purpose? Wow. I was saying she attacked because she interviewed a couple of guys people called. All right, so with some details, we'll find out. I don't know. I haven't heard anything. That's a good question. Anybody from Canberra or aware of what happened in Canberra? Would love to know. Make elbow go away. Yep, damn straight. Damn straight. I'd like to thank my friend Reezy, who got me an authentic MAGA hat from America, just so I could wear it around on Halloween. And the funny thing about wearing a MAGA hat on Halloween is you get to excite everybody, because there's the people who actually support the movement who go, "Hey, that's an awesome hat." And there's a whole bunch of people who think you're wearing it because it's scary, who also say, "Awesome hat." Fucking hilarious. You should try it sometime. I highly recommend it. You will not get into trouble because it's Halloween. Everybody has their own point of view of how to see it. It's scarily funny. Highly recommend it. Anyway, so Devel, I think the comment was misconstrued, an attack with words, perhaps. Okay, cool. Well, it's good to know that she wasn't actually physically attacked. I was a bit concerned for my good friend Robin. Personal opinion, if people's streamers didn't make it their mission to point out the NSA and make a big deal about them being at marches, it wouldn't have gotten so heated. Look, to be honest, Tash, I was actually really concerned that there were going to be people out there with the direct intent to create problems, much like I wasn't going to call attention to it. There's one tubby lady all by herself with look like size 6, like an XL friggin' white shirt over the top of her other shirt with "migrants are my friends, challenge me" or something to that effect. I'll have to have a look. I do have footage of it. I just didn't want to give it any weight, and she walked around by herself with apples under her arms, punching, ready for a punch on. You could see she wanted to start a fight, but you know what? Of all the thousands of people there at Townsville, nobody took the bait. And well done to all of you just ignoring that clearly lonely, pathetic excuse for a human being who had to walk out by themselves and attempt to make themselves a target. That's left-hard thinking. I'm going to go and land on this hand grenade, not to save people's lives, but to try and make some foolish point. Idiotic. No worries, Jake Soy. Hey, thanks for the phone call the other day. Much appreciated, my friend. Cheers. And I'd like to point out, Jake Soy is a great stand-up human being who has been supporting this network via Patreon and various other means for a long bloody time. So, hey, big sips to Jake Soy. Stand-up human being. And if there were more people like Jake Soy, I wouldn't have to work multiple jobs in order to be flat broke. All right. Didn't see anything from Tassie. What, nothing? Absolutely nothing. Like not even one wave of a flag. Help us out there. Thank you, Jason. Look, we all work very well at Cafe Lockdown, I think. We don't always see eye to eye. We don't always agree. But, hey, let's agree to disagree. And, at the end of the day, we all have one amazing goal, and that is to be human, to be free. And as I understand it, in my search for spirituality, it's always the one concept continues to come up, and that is this alien ant farm, this corporeal existence, assign your own value to what it is we're living through. Some might say an AI simulation or some weird shit like that. It's all a point of view. I'm not saying anything's right or wrong. I love the philosophical construct myself of what the hell is this? But, in this particular construct, we're all working very well together to make the construct, I think, a better place. That's my opinion. Anyway. Yeah, exactly. When the word, Nazi and racist are thrown around, they have no argument left. A lot of black magic in Townsville. I am inclined to agree. There are some very dark forces in this place. Like it looks really beautiful and amazing. Like when I first got here, I thought, wow, this is great. I mean, the fact that it was so Australian still, excuse me, blast from the past. It was like, wow, I remember when Australians were Australians. It was a great place to be, but boy, is it going downhill. And our council, by God, you can't even pick up the bins, council. How useless are you? 10 councillors and you can't pick up a bin? You know what? I reckon for the amount of money, those useless councillors and that words can't describe piece of shit CEO who takes someone in the vicinity of $650,000 a year is that's just his wage. Don't think about all the rest of the benefits he gets. He's probably that guy probably costs a Townsville about $1 million a year at a guess, just a guess, but wouldn't be far off, I reckon. That toss bag should get out there and empty some fucking bins. We've certainly paid for it, don't you think? And every one of them high end, because it's not just the dumb shit counselors. I mean, there's a couple of really evil ones, and then there's the morons, like Christian Price, who proved that the price of his soul was fuck all. The price of that man's soul was one wage. That's a decent wage, I'll pay that. But the price of Christian Price's soul was one wage. All I had to say to him was, mate, we'll do to you what we did to Troy. And he sold out. Weak as piss. It's really sad. I thought he was a good dude, and that's what hurts the most. I thought he was a good bloke. We helped him out here at the North Queensland Freedom Network, and turned his back. Very sad. Very sad. Anytime you want to come and apologize and try and make amends, my friend, or former friend, I should say, I'm all ears. I think it's a bit sad though that it has to have come to this. We believed in you, and you've let the people down. That's the real issue here. Anyway, Robin. G'day, Jamie. How you going? Hello from Townsville. Sad. Hey, they probably didn't even go to the rally. Oh no, why it happened? Yeah. Well, that's the thing. People who get a distorted point of view is Batman and Robin. Love your work, Jake. So I think we might actually have to do that. We might have to put some masks on and play up to that a little bit. Nice work. Love it. Ron was pointed out the white supremacist fellas who really took over the mic in Perth. Okay. Radio. See, my approach isn't like I dealt with that issue. I'm like, all right, I see them, I acknowledge them, but I don't want to encourage it. But at the same time, I do have a curiosity. I want to know why they are the way they are. Like I said, I work closely with the Indigenous here that are doing the right thing who want to work together, and I love working with those people. It's so amazing. A big shout out to all my Indigenous brothers and sisters, by the way. And I have spoken to Blackboard recently, and he is keen to get back in. And I tell you what, mainstream media, Blackboard is still not Troy Thompson. You guys need to learn how to do research, seriously. Anyway, Just well, don't worry about being called a racist by those who wish harm on me. I embrace everyone else. Yeah, not of European stock. Much more racist. Yeah, see that's a generalization, mate. Everyone else not of European stock are much more racist. Again, see, this is the divisive nature they're trying to create. Like be careful of your wording is what I'll say there. Be careful of your wording because that can be construed. I know you don't mean it that way. I'm looking at this as a decent human being trying to say, responding to what's happening to them, and I get it. Yeah, just be careful the way you word things. I was bricked up for some action, but they were all about way. Awesome. That's good to know. Can we watch after this live? I missed a fair bit. Yes, you can. You most certainly can watch this. It is there for all time. Facebook may delete it. So I believe it's a 28-day scenario currently with Facebook. They've decided they're no longer going to be an archive of information and knowledge. So if you want to find anything that we've done over the years, it is all available on Rumble. It is all available on BitChute. Although I think there's a patch there where I didn't stream to BitChute because it got a bit hard. But BitChute now allow us to stream live, so that's a feasibility. But for the entirety of the North Queensland Freedom Network's the stuff that I've done personally, everything's on Rumble. Rumble is your ultimate go-to. Facebook used to be, but they've just deleted heaps of stuff. I actually had somebody call me the other day who thought that I deleted them and stopped speaking to them. And why are you pissed off? I'm like, what are you talking about? Oh, it's no longer on Facebook. I'm like, well, look, Facebook's been saying it for a long time that they were no longer going to support, I guess, being a data retention center. They probably will for, nefarious purposes, but certainly not for you. So, yeah, Rumble is always my highest recommendation. It's basically, it's YouTube, just not quite as well refined as coding goes, but Rumble's the way to go, I think. That's and as we can see, our next comment is coming from Rumble. Nothing wrong with migrants, but uncontrolled with folk who have no intent to assimilate. Exactly. These people are not working within the laws, then there's a problem. I mean, you shouldn't be punishing people who are pointing out, hey, old mate's not following the law. You punish the guy who's not following the law. Come on, it's not hard. G'day, Matt Finlay. About behavior and beliefs that clash. Yeah, that's it. If people aren't willing to get along, we've got a problem. Hobart did have one. As in one person or one march. I just didn't get much coverage. I saw it on Facebook and all right, cool. Yeah, we can just need it and first available to watch Nancy. Bin the council. We got to work harder on that. Come on, Joanna, help us out. What can we do? We got to get rid of them. They're going to be gone. I think Troy is doing some great work. He's laying low at the moment, as I understand. In the meantime, there is a resurgence from the petition that he put round due to more evidence of corruption coming forth. And it is people pressure. So if you're from Townsville right now or any other place, your council's giving you grief, you need to hit up the state member because you know what? They don't want to have to deal with it. Make their lives painful. They might actually just, if we get rid of the council, my life won't be painful. Though they might just be that selfish. You never know. Worth a try. Yep, I'm inclined to agree. Replacement migration. And, from countries, I think Bob Catter pointed out, are they coming from countries that have the correct, morality? Can they speak English? I mean, I've been stopped by people who can't speak a word of English, in the supermarket asking me, and they're holding batteries and a torch and grunting at you, they obviously want help. Hey, does this battery fit this torch? A. First letter of alphabet. 2, right? 2A, battery. 2A, yeah, right batteries. You're right. Learn English. Well, some maybe. I don't think all, and I think a lot more people are standing up. A lot of people have been very silently, taking it, but we've all reached. I think a lot of people have reached boiling point, and today has certainly emphasised that. It was a huge rally. I still don't know how, why, where, or whatever it started. It look at the end of the day, who cares? It seems to have worked out pretty well so far, from what I understand. It's about good ethics, exactly. If you're going to be a cunt, be a good cunt. The best bogan philosophy you'll ever find. I'm sorry for the language for those who are offended, but it's about as ochre as you're going to get, especially for those of us who love to see you in the NT t-shirts, which I do. Can't help it. I don't understand how you're going to be offended by something when it's said in the right way. Now, if somebody's saying it to you in an aggressive manner, okay, fair enough. But when you're just joking around, who cares? Like, at the end of the day, being offended is a conscious decision. If I say something and you're offended by it, it's because you have decided to be offended by it. There's a bit of philosophy for you. Think about that. Everything was better in the 80s and the 90s, even the music. That's all right. You can still go back in time and watch it again. That's it. Everybody's at their own level, and you can't begrudge people for not being at the level you're at any more than you want to be belittled for not being at the level that somebody else is at, perhaps, So do unto others, or they may do unto you. Exactly. Look, at the end of the day, it is happening to all third world nations. Oh, sorry, not all third world nations. We're all becoming third world nations. All of us in the West are being inundated, and it's all happening under the same thing, just like the COVID narrative. It's the same government, different places, different governments doing exactly the same thing, and that is not a coincidence. Come on, like, it's pretty obvious. We're dealing with a pretty truth. Where am I in the comments? My comment people out there still able to help me? I'll just like, hang on. Whoa, we're miles behind. Struth, I've got a lot of catching up to do. Here in Australia, are all Nazis apparently? Maybe. Yeah, all right. I'll let somebody else control the comments. I'm done. He is doing cool. Wayne, Tom, Robin, and all the marches cool. Same as shame, not Brisbane. It was awesome. Well, that's good to know that Brisbane was good. Thank you very much. Let's keep that moving. Hang on. I did this over here. All right. What are you doing? All kinds of good. It's it's the person behind it control. Love your work, Jason. Love your work, Sips, brother. Who's controlling the comments out there? What's going on? Are you controlling it or not? I hear a lot of shouting through the wall. One of the children must be upsetting her. All right. Yep, my surname is Scottish.
We've done all the comments, you retard.
Oh, am I going through the? Apparently, I'm miles behind. There you go. I just can call it a retard. How's that for love? I love your family. Anyway, we're down there. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's been well and truly 2 hours. Glass is empty, or is it nearly full? I don't know. Philosophical points of view. Who cares? I'll see you next week. Let me check my schedule. What do we got? So I want to thank Kate, who was supposed to be here Friday, for being tolerant. And she's like, oh, look, you know what? I've got other things I wanted to do anyway. I just didn't want to ditch you. So really appreciate that, Kate, who is going to come back and talk crazy conspiracy UFO stuff with us in the near future. I believe we've got on the 19th. The 19th of September, we're going to have Kate. We're going to talk about UFOs and all the crazy stuff that people don't want to talk about. Why wouldn't you want to talk about these things? I don't know. Like, it's fun to speculate, is it not? Next Friday, we got Jeannie coming on. She's been an amazing person behind the scenes for the last 5 years, working on, My Place, fluoride movement, and various other things here in Townsville we need to work on for the Prost, of course. Prost. I know that. Cheers for you, those who don't know. That's German for cheers. So yeah, Jeannie will be coming on. We're going to talk about a whole bunch of things we can do here in Townsville to hopefully bring the power back to the people. All you Rage Against the Machine fans will know all about that. I haven't got much else planned outside of those two at this particular point. The weekend, or I should be able to get a podcast out on the 12th. Won't be able to do anything on the 14th, sadly. Got economic commitments, which will tie me down, and I won't be able to do that. Time kangaroo down sport. Anyway, thank you all. It's been amazing. Loving the energy of today. I was a little bit doom and gloom thinking it was all going to go south, but I think we've all managed to yet again rise above the elements of the dark side. And what I thought was an Admiral Akbar moment, it's a trap, turned into the end of Return of the Jedi. We got the torpedo down the tube, took out the Death Star. Yet again, the Australian people have risen above, and sips to all of you for being amazing human beings and amazing Australians. Yeah, I was about to end, but then I seen that. Hi, Batty. To clarify on Robin remark earlier, the blokes in the black outfits, Robin was asking them who they were. In the end, they shout into her face. She held herself well. Okay, cool. Well, I'm going to find out more about that, and yeah. Keep an eye out for the Cafe Locked-Out show tonight. We'll see what it's all about. I'll be watching in the background, I guess. Anyway, till next time, ladies and gentlemen. See you.